Hello and welcome back to Kev's Vintage Tractor Repair channel. In today's episode on the Ferguson FE35 we're going to be fitting the oil pickup tube and the sump. All parts in this video are sponsored by MARC UK Limited and the part numbers you'll find at the end of the video. I hope you enjoy the video. Hello and welcome back to Kev's Vintage Tractor Repair channel. In this episode we're going to be fitting the oil pickup tube and putting the sump back onto the engine. What we're going to do is fit the sump and the pickup tube. So if we bring the camera over to our engine, here we are, got the engine upside down on my spinner. You must probably see these two little sort of dowels, little pegs I've put in, but they'll make a bit of sense in a moment. So what we're going to do first is fit the pickup tube. Okay, oil pickup tube. So really easy. Get it started and then get this one started as well. This is the one that just holds it in place. It's a 15/16 size. There's an olive on the end, it's nice and clean, so you can see where somebody's had a butcher at it before, but that'll be okay. Also what I have done, I know it's upside down at the moment, but I have poured a little bit of oil in there, so it's going to just sort of flow back into the pump, just to sort of double check it is all lubricated up. This doesn't have to be tight, it's got an olive on the end, so that isn't going anywhere. I don't know if I can get my ratchet in there, can I? Yes I can. So we'll just do that up. And that's fitting the oil pickup tube. It can only go one way, and once we've fitted the sump, there's a strainer basket which goes over that through the sump, but I'm not going to fit any of that at the moment. Okay, so now we're going to do the sump. Use whatever sealant you want to use. This is what I use, this aviation gasket. If it comes over the side, I can just wipe it off with a bit of brake cleaner. If it goes into the engine, as the oil gets hot, it just disappears within. I don't like using silicone. If you need to use it by all means, but use it sparingly on here. Don't put so much on, it just comes out the sides. On here, be nice and easy to clean off, but on the inside is where it can drop off and block oil ways, and then all of a sudden you've got a seized engine. All right, so it's got its place. You can use it, but for this, just get yourself a little pot of this. It's on eBay or somewhere like that. Permatex sort of former gasket. All right, this is ideal for what we want. You still don't have to use loads. You don't have to bath the whole engine in it. It's really thick and gloopy. So just put it where our gasket is going to sit. All right, so across the holes. You haven't got to do all this all around here. It will spread, so I'll just go around. If it goes in the holes, it's fine, that'll come out. All down the edge. Okay, so along the front. Don't have to do right up here, because the gasket, the sump doesn't go that far. I'll say this is what I've used for years, and it's always worked really well for me. If you remember when I said at the beginning, I'll put these little dowels in. They're just going to help me when I fit the gasket. So what's going to happen, we get our gasket, we line it up on the holes, where's the other one? There, and just drop it down. On these FE35s, the sump is made out of cast. It's really heavy. By doing this, hopefully my gasket is not going to move. It's going to be held into place when the sump goes down, because sometimes what you can happen, things will twist, and it's always a nightmare to try and sort of line it up, make sure all the holes are there. Now, I've got a little engine spinner. For you, some of you might be at home doing it, might be lying on the floor. You can do exactly the same again. Put your sealant on. Obviously you'll do it on the sump this time. But what you also get when we're fitting this is some longer bolts. So what you could do is get your trolley jack it up so far, put a couple of those in, it will wear it wherever they go, and then the sump will just hang there. Then you know it's all going to go up nice and square. All right, so there's different ways of doing it. I'll say this works for me. You sort of find the way it works best for you. A little bit more on. So I'm not using loads. The gasket is a little bit thicker than what was on originally, but that's just how they come. So all the time you're doing this, just have a look around the engine, have a look inside, make sure you haven't missed anything, everything's done up, and sort of just generally sort of just have a bit of a check while you're doing it, because we're now sort of starting to close the engine up now, so we just want to make sure everything's okay. Okay, and that's it. Now going to get our sump. Okay. So what we're going to do is find the stud. Get a stud on the other side. And there you go. Just lay it down nice and gently. I'm using new sprung washers because the other ones, they were flat. They didn't even spring back. So for what they cost, we'll just put some more on. I've wire wheeled these, cleaned them, degreased them, and just to give them a quick soak in some brake cleaner. So these are all the original ones, and we're going to use these again. This tractor is going to be painted, so when these go on, we'll have some nice square edges to paint, and that'll all look nice and smart. So what we need to do, put these on. All we want to do is lay them in, just get them finger tight started. Don't be tempted to, right, I've done that one, get my ratchet, do it up really tight, because then all of a sudden this might want to move slightly just to sort of bed it home. So just get them all started. That can unscrew out now. There it comes. I'll just put another one in its place. And then what we'll do, they're all in there, they're all sort of started. I like to pull it down so far, start the corners, and then just work your way down. Then you know what's all in there, nice and square. Now, these are only small little bolts, just a bit of a turn. We don't need to pull them right round. I'm sure there is a torque setting for them, but these are only small. So we're now on to the last one. It's a little bit awkward. There's our sump all the way down. Like I was saying before, a little bit of tissue, a little bit of brake cleaner, and this just wipes off. So if you've already got a nice painted tractor and all of a sudden you got an oil leak or whatever you've got, you can use this stuff and it just wipes off. The only thing I have found with it is when I'm painting something, if you don't clean it up, you'll get little bubbles and sometimes the paint doesn't stick. But for general use, bits and pieces, it's absolutely fine. So that's the pickup tube and the sump fitted to our engine. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flick it over, just turn the engine round. It's starting to get a bit heavy on here now. If we have a look sort of here, this is just a bit of dust on there. When I sort of cleaned this up, I just pushed the core plugs in. So they are obviously a bit caked in a little bit of etch primer. Here's one that fell out the front. So that's all it is, those big old-fashioned penny core plugs. Now, like I was saying, I just literally laid those in there so I didn't get any paint on that edge so I could fit these. I'm not going to demonstrate how to fit these. If you have a look at Lance from Bundy Bear's Shed, he's done a really good video on the different types of core plug and how to fit them. All right, so I'll put a link in my description of how to fit them, or his video of how to fit them, and just have a watch of that. It's a really good video. That's pretty much where we're at now. What I will do next, I'll just turn this around again, and it might take me a bit of time to get to this point because I'm just going to try and work out the best way of filming it so you can all see it, because we're now going to start talking about the timing of this tractor. All right, so fitting our injection pump housing up. This is just a cover, just for to cover the push rods, but how to fit this piece, and then obviously fitting our chain on the front. That's it for now, so I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you next time. Thank you.